and welcome to the Vast Side Spurs podcast. I'm Steve Worrell, and today we are joined by Stacey. How are we doing, Stace?
I'm good, Steve, and looking forward to talking about the two games we've just played.
Okay, good stuff. Had a good week?
Yeah, very good week, mate. Very good week. I've been busy at work. I had my birthday celebrations over the weekend, and I went a bit silly with the owls and the bitters. I went a bit more traditional, and left the craft beers alone.
Well, belated happy birthday, mate. I don't want to ask how old you are.
Nah, let's kick that bit and we'll just move on.
No worries. Also with us today, we're joined by Andy. How are we doing, Andy Creed?
Yeah, very well. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah,
and yourself?
Have you been...
You okay?
Yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I like to see the attire that you're sporting today.
Yep, gone full 70s retro. Yep.
Yeah, no, looking good.
Flares and everything. You can't see the flares, but yeah.
Well, maybe a little bit later.
Yeah.
Hey.
And the platform shoes.
And Stace, I see you're repping Crawley Spurs, I see.
Crawley Spurs, big up the Crawley Spurs.
Nice one. Okay, and we're also joined today by Pete Haine of Tottenham Hotspurs Supporters Trust. How are you doing, Pete?
I'm very well. Every day for me, being a retiree seems like every other day for the past 3 months. Get up, watch a bit of football. Now it's back on and enjoy England winning a test match as well. So
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Okay, I have to declare my allegiances here. I'm a West Indies fan for the cricket. Yeah, well, we're back to we're back to where I expected us to be. To be fair, I didn't expect us to win the first test, let alone So this is more like what I'm expecting of the West Indies these days. Absolutely diabolical. So
never used to be the case, though, Steve, did it?
Well, no, it didn't actually. No, and I guess that's how I got into it because a mate of mine told me I was a West Indies fan at secondary school, high school, or whatever you want to call it these days. Having not really taken that much interest in the cricket at that point, and he kind of said, "Oh, West Indies are doing really good, aren't they?" And I thought, "Are they?" So, well, you're doing really well. It's like, okay, let's have a look at this. And obviously, we were whooping England's arse at the time. So, well, okay, I'll jump on board with that. with Richards and Curtly Ambrose, all them people that were absolutely top drawer. It's like, well, yeah. Oh God, so I'll have some of that, So, but yeah, I don't know. Since it left the BBC and went on to Sky, we seem to have gone a bit downhill. Fortunately, that's my excuse anyway.
Bloody Sky.
Bloody Sky. I don't really watch Sky that much, and that's the reason why. So, anyway, enough bollocks about cricket, especially as we're doing West Indies ain't doing too good. So, let's kick off. Got a couple of games to review. So we'll start off with Newcastle. Where should we start? Andy, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm finding it hard to remember the Newcastle game. I don't know why. Is it just too much football recently? But what I do remember about it was, although once again, and Jose's had a lot of criticism for this, we didn't have a lot of the ball, but we played really solidly and we got the goals. And I know we conceded, but once again we conceded to a worldie, which was the same against the Wanderers, and I was impressed. I was quietly impressed by the performance. It's just really solid football, and I quite like that. I know people want the flair, but I really appreciate the defensive structure he's put in place, and he's got us fighting. He's got us fighting, which is really good to see.
Yeah, it was interesting you mentioned the goal that they scored. Obviously, it came from a kind of misclearance from Aurier, and given the circumstances, I wasn't even expecting to see him out there. Given the circumstances, and I thought bar that clearance, I thought he had a solid game, but looking really good, and I couldn't be. I was really surprised to see people slag it. Despite the win, slagging him off for the clearance and not even taking into consideration the circumstances around what had taken place, in that week. So, yeah, Pete, what were your thoughts on the game?
I think after seeing those dreadful performances at Bournemouth and Sheffield United, I wasn't hopeful. I've seen Newcastle a couple of times since the resumption, and they seem to have a lot of pace, which I thought might trouble us. And played some really nice football. So, as Andy said, I was very pleased with the solidity of the defence and the fact that you began to saw some little green shoots there about how, almost like a rope-a-dope, let them come on here, drop a bit deep, and then exploit the space behind the midfield and defend for the pace that we've got up front to run onto. And I thought it was promising. It looked like a plan had started to come together. I think when it went to 1-1, I was a little bit, oh, here we go again. As you say, it's a worldie, and it was a one-off. It was a brilliant strike. Or tried his best to clear it, but he just happened to fall to this guy and he screamed it in. Other than that, I think there was a header, and I don't recall Newcastle creating that much more.
No, I remember Alan Maximan. Is that what he was called? He had a lot of the ball, didn't he? And he was transitioning up the pitch. Saint Maximan.
Yeah, Saint Maximan.
He was transitioning it up the pitch really efficiently, but he wasn't really doing much at the other end. So we were just kind of dealing with it.
We was quite harsh with him, really. We made some quite clinical fouls on him in the game, and we had more of the ball against Newcastle as well. We saw more of the ball definitely than what we did.
I think in the first half as well. Again, I think both that game and the game we're going to come on to talk about. I think in the first half, I think we certainly were much more involved in the game and used more attacking and more proactive. I like what you said there, Pete, about it kind of being like a rope-a-dope performance. And, the pleasing thing was how clinical we were in front of goal. Just taking opportunities to Stace. That we're not used to doing.
Obviously, it's Kane. Kane scored two header goals, didn't he? And one was a really good clinical header, striker's header. The other one was a snap coming onto a rebound from Lamella's shot. It was the same, obviously. Sonny scored the first goal, didn't he? But I was happy with the performance against Newcastle. And he's trying to cut out these errors that we're doing at the back, and he's trying to keep it simple. He's definitely told Sissoko to clear it and get rid of it and not muck about it.
He's doing a lot of that, isn't he?
He does a lot of that. Yeah. The ball retention doesn't matter. Let's get it out. Get out of danger. Going back to old school.
Clear the press. Yeah.
Clear the press. Get it out. It's it's a bit, but I was impressed with us against Newcastle. I think they had a few shots though again, and that's what people are. I know that they had twice as many shots as what we had, but we was more clinical. I think our shots on target was the same as theirs, if I can remember rightly.
I think the thing that I'm kind of impressed with is, there's like Pete said, there's like little green shoots coming, but there's little things that I'm noticing that I'm really pleased with. So Mora, for example, I think in the last few games has been a real revelation in terms of his contribution with the ball and his contribution without the ball. How much he's working to win back possession, track back, get into shape, and being more positive with the ball or looking to make a positive impact with the ball, where he's being more creative and looking to make passes. Whereas, we're often on the pod we're critical of his contribution, where he was always seemed to run down blind alleys or turn and turn, get into people's way or turn into defenders and turn over possession. But now he seems to be receiving the ball in space and looking to make passes. I thought
he draws in fouls. I know
it does. Yeah,
he's brilliant. He's a brilliant outlet as well, because people just hack him down all the time because he's so quick, turns on a sixpence as well.
Yeah, but he's now doing that in, by being positive with the ball, right, and rather than just like it feels like he knows what he wants to do with the ball now, whereas in the past I didn't get the impression that he kind of knew what he was doing. It just get a ball, turn, head down, run, and see what would happen.
Jose's done that to him.
100%.
He's gone one-on-one with him. He's sat him down and said to him, "You need to think about what you're doing with the ball. You need to release the ball a lot earlier when you're attacking. You've created that space." And it's a detriment to his goals because I don't think he's going so direct on goal. But now he's dropped back in. He's a midfielder, and you can see him tracking back.
Yeah, he's working hard. Yeah.
He's working really hard and defending, dropping back in. He was excellent. He was excellent.
Mind you, against Leicester, he had a couple of moments I felt where he wasn't really tracking on the left-hand side enough, and he kind of got lost a bit up the pitch. But I guess this is all things that need to be sorted out.
I saw another great game. Another person like that I certainly in the Newcastle game that I kind of liked was Lo Celso. He's a bit of an irritating little bugger.
Him and Lamella.
It's not necessarily. I mean, obviously he's got that ability on the ball and can play, but I like the fact that he's a bit of an irritant and tries to wind people up, and he was always like leaving his foot in or emphasizing the challenges. And doing it and sort of smiling at the opposition while he was doing it. Say I'm making the most of the contact. I'm deliberately trying to wind you up. I'm deliberately trying to, maybe get a booking for you or better, So
that's right.
Yeah, I was quite pleased with that. So I think, overall, I thought Newcastle performance was good, result was good, and it kind of put us in a positive frame of mind, obviously for the Leicester game. So, Pete, what were your thoughts on Leicester?
I had to rub my eyes many times in that first half and just thought how clinical we really were. And again, going back to the point I was making in the Newcastle game, the pace and the attacking flair that we had and the speed of those movements to create those 3 goals in that first half was phenomenal. Now, you have to take that game with a little bit of a pinch of salt, given Leicester's injury problems and the fact their back 4 defensive line wouldn't have been the back 4 would have played if they'd had full fitness.
Yep.
But even so, the team strategy and the team plan exploited that weakness and that lack of understanding in that back 4.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliantly in that first half.
And it's interesting. I mean, you say the strategy and the plan, and as much I love Mourinho as much as sorry, not Mourinho.
Yes, you do.
Oh my God, what's my mouth up? No, I love Pochettino as much as the next person did. But you kind of I'm not sure that we always had a strategy and a plan for how to like a different strategy and a plan for how to play against different teams. So Mourinho's come out and said that we had a plan for for Leicester to nullify their threat. Their threat, as far as he was concerned, is exploiting the space in behind the opposition's defence. So we didn't give them that a threat, and that gave us a platform to build the game. And you kind of wonder how often with Pochettino we kind of said, right, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to play. This is their threat, and this is how we're going to exploit that. And as you say, I mean, that we were clinical in front of goal. I think getting that early goal obviously gave us a good platform, and then we went on and built from there. Andy, how did you feel like, and who lit up the game? I think for you.
Well, one man obviously did because he looked back to his best, and there's nothing wrong with his